Hi guys, I'm back to make another batch of soap for you. Today, since we are in the fall season, I am going to make a pumpkin pie cold processed soap. I am going to use actual pumpkin puree, which I have in front of you. And you may be saying, why pumpkin? Pumpkin is very, very healthy for your skin if you don't know that. It's packed with fruit enzymes. It has alpha hydroxy acids. Those increase cell turnover and they help to brighten and smoothen your skin. It contains vitamin A and C, and it boosts collagen production to prevent the signs of aging. So it's a really, really good thing for your skin. Plus, I'm going to be adding goat's milk to the batter. So this is going to be a creamy, luxurious, skin softening bar of soap. The types of oil that I have in here today are olive oil, coconut oil, walnut oil, grapeseed oil, palm oil, which is naturally sustained. See what else? I have some more in there. I have shea butter, raw organic shea butter, and avocado oil. I think that may be all of them. I'm pretty sure it is. So anyway, what I've done so far is I've melted my oils. I have my Lye Water. They're both at roughly 110 degrees, so that's a good time to blend them together. What I did with the goat's milk that I did not do last time is my recipe called for 17 ounces of water. So what I did was I put 14 ounces of water with the lye, and I'm going to add 3 ounces of goat's milk to this now to make it the total of 17. The reason why I did that is because if you add the goat's milk while the lye water is really hot, then it turns it bright yellow. You can avoid that by using ice, freezing the milk into ice cubes. I did not have time to do that, so that is why I did it this way. So all I'm going to do is now pour this goat's milk into the lye solution, and it should stay a nice creamy color. If it gets yellow, it will barely get yellow. Also, I am adding in some sodium lactate, which is to help make the bar harder, and for that they recommend a teaspoon per pound of oils. I have 4 pounds here, so I'm going to add in 4 teaspoons. Okay. So I do have a plan for this soap. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to do a bottom layer. You'll see some colors here. I have white, I have brown oxide, and then I have the pumpkin, which will add some color. Plus, I have some sunset orange mica from Brambleberry Soap Company. So my plan is to do a dark layer on the bottom with this. I'm going to be adding some actual pumpkin pie spice into this to help as an exfoliant. I'm going to try to make a nice swirl design in the soap, and then I'm going to pipe on top of it with an actual piping bag. And then I have some cinnamon sticks and some anise stars that I'm going to decorate the top with. And I most likely will sprinkle on a little bit of ground cinnamon on top. All these spices, they have properties to them that help your skin. So that's why I like to add them in. This was one of my best sellers. This and oatmeal milk and honey, which I'm going to make tomorrow and also film. So first thing I have to do is combine my lye water with my oils. Now, I'm not going to add the pumpkin yet. And the reason is I do not want the pumpkin to be in the top part that I pipe with the piping bag. I want it to only be in the bar part. So what I have to do is emulsify this until I reach trace. Trace means that it reaches a certain stage where the oils and the lye water are combined and it starts to get thicker. So what I want is a light trace, which means I want really runny yogurt consistency. So I'm going to do that first. Then I'm going to pour some off to the side. I'm going to make a little reserve of batter to keep for the top, and then I will add the pumpkin in. So here we go. Last video I explained trying to avoid air bubbles and all of that. So one way to avoid air bubbles is to use the shaft of your stick blender to pour the lye solution into the container you're using. So my stick blender, go in from the side, okay? Then I'm going to tap it a few times to make sure that I don't have any air bubbles trapped under there. And now what I'm going to do is pour it on the actual shaft of the blender. Hopefully this will all fit in there. Now you still will get some air bubbles, but not as much, or not as many, I should say, as just dropping it in there. You always want to scrape your containers. When you make soap, it's very important that your measurements are correct. Okay, so now I'm going to tap it again. And now I'm going to blend it. I like to use short bursts at first, just to get it going. And that just reminded me to put my goggles on. Always wear safety equipment. That lye solution is no joke. It'll burn your eyeball out of your head. I promise you. You always want to tap a couple of times in between pulsations, if that's such a word. Okay. Now I have to come out of the batter because I have some oil here that I want to press down. So I'm going to tap again. And you can see when I do that, you can see the air bubbles come up. See that? Now, having air bubbles in your soap is not going to ruin it, but it's going to not be pretty. It's going to have little air pockets in it. So that's why you want to try to avoid them as much as possible. You're going to get them on the top. That's unavoidable. So right now I pull the blender out and you can see the batter on the blender. It's just not running off and back into the bowl. So you can see that it's staying on the blender. So that is a very light trace, and that's what I want. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to scrape it off. I'm just going to give it a swirl with my spoon. And now what I'm going to do is get my reserve out, which I will pour into one of these. And that should be plenty. I'm going to just set that to the side. And what I'm going to do is, first clean my mess. I'm going to put some fragrance, some of the fragrance, into this to let it start thickening up on its own. So I have some of the fragrance right here. Bear with me 1 second. And I'm going to get my pipette and I'm going to put some into this. Okay. Now the next thing I need to do is whiten that up just a bit. So I'm going to get my stick blender back into the picture here. I'm going to add some titanium dioxide. I'm going to take my blender and kind of push it down. Tap, 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 tap. And I'm going to lighten that up. Bring it up, push it down. Sorry for the banging, guys. Okay. So that's a lot nicer now. Now I notice with this batter that it's already starting to get a little thick on me because I may have just blended it for a second too long. So what I need to do is get a move on. I need to separate now for my brown and my orange. So I have two containers here. That will be the brown, the orange, just cleaning up a bit here. So my brown I need to do first. I'm going to put some of the color in there. Start with that much. I'm also going to put in the pumpkin pie spice. I'm going to blend that up quick. I'm not going to add the fragrance to the end because it's getting thick on me. So fragrance can excel trace, so that's why I want to add it at the end. Okay, so now we got a nice chocolate colored batter there. I'm going to scrape it off. Put it to the side. You just have to rinse this quick, guys. Okay. Now I'm going to do my orange. Well, probably 2 spoonfuls of the orange should do it. It's a pretty sunset orange color. That actually may even be enough. Let me try that. Again, push it down into the soap. Move it around a little bit with the stick blender first so it doesn't puff up. It for that one. And then in the main batter I want to add my pumpkin. That is right here. So I'm just gonna take my pumpkin and I'm gonna scoop it right in there, just like so. Give it a good mix through. And then I need to emulsify it. Now I have a little orange on there, but this is orange anyway, so I need to add some titanium in there just to lighten it a bit. So let's try that much first. Okay, a little bit more. And a little bit more. I think we're good. So now what I need to do, besides scraping this off, is start put my fragrance in the soap. So I'm going to put some in here. Pumpkin pie has a lot of vanilla in it, so it's naturally going to brown it a little bit. Not brown it, it'll tan it. Then I need some in my orange. And then I'm also going to need some in my brown. So I'll put the rest in there, okay? I'm just hand mixing it in for now to see how it behaves. You do not have to emulsify fragrance into soap. You can hand mix it. So that one's good. And now we'll work on this one. This one needs the blender a little bit. Just wanted to thicken that up a little bit so that the other soaps hopefully will stay on top of it, providing I don't swirl too deep. So now it's time for the mold. Everything's all set. Time for the mold. So now what I'm going to do is get my mold over here. Make sure you guys can see. And you can. So the first color going in will be the brown. And I'm just gonna pour a nice layer of it down there. Maybe a little bit more, because I also want to swirl some through the bar. Okay. Then I need to put in my main batter, which I definitely need a spatula for. So I'm going to pour it on top of the spatula to kind of break the fall a bit. I can't see what I'm doing. Bad direction. Right, here we go. So there's some of that. I have to let the top set up, the part that I have to pipe. I need to let that set up and get really thick. So that usually takes about 45 minutes to an hour. So what I'm going to do now is pour up from high the other colors that I have to kind of swirl them in there. I think I'm going to leave a little bit of the brown and orange for the top also. Why not? We'll make this really festive. Not much, just a little bit. And then the rest of the main batter. Fill it up right to the tippity top. Just scraping the bowl. It smells so good in here, you guys. All right, so now I am going to clean the edges up quick, and then I'm going to swirl it. I have this little piece of wire that I bought from Brambleberry, and I paid like $20 for this stupid thing, and my husband says it's just a piece of electrical wire that you could have got for probably 10 cents at Home Depot. But anyway, you could bend it to whatever shape you want, but it's very hard to get it back into the shape of straight. So I'm going to just go down here and just swirl it around a bit. Hopefully I'm not getting the bottom, but if I do, it is what it is. Okay. And that's it. So now what I'm going to do, guys, is put you on pause. You won't know it because I'm going to come right back in video land, but I'm going to put you on pause, let this top part set up, and then when I come back, we will pipe the top. Okay guys, I'm back. I want to apologize right now for the TV being on, but my grandson has made an appearance, and in order for me to do this, I need to keep him quiet. So, I apologize, but trust me, you want that TV on in the background. So I'm just taking the end of my spoon here and trying to swirl this a little bit in the bag. I had to rush out of here to get him, so I didn't have time to set it up the right way in the bag, but it is what it is. It's still going to be a beautiful bar of soap once I get it finished off here. Just trying to squeeze it down into the bag where it needs to be. Kind of overstuffed it. I'm just going to cut the tip of it off. I was going to use a piping tip, but I decided not to. I just want a nice fluffy top on it because the decoration is really going to come in with the cinnamon sticks. So, here we go. Just like cake decorating. I let this sit for quite a while, and the bag is extremely full, so I'm struggling with it right now. But I just need to get this first layer out, and then I will be able to control it better on the second layer. So I'm just going to continue to hopefully get it out of the bag here. It's very, very thick. I let it sit for a while, so there we go. Now it's starting to flow out. And I'm going to do like probably 3 rows of this on top of each other. So the first row, I really don't care if it's symmetrically correct. It's the second row that I really want to start concentrating on the design. Okay. All right. So now I did rows of 3. I'm going to go 2 in between each one here. So I'm just filling in the 2 gaps. These soaps are a huge hit in my area. Let's be honest, you can't get goodness like this out of a store. I have a set of piping tips that I dedicate solely to soap making. Okay, and I still have some left, so I could still keep going. Just going to put my bag on a table and situate it a little bit better here.
With this hand I will lift your sorrows. Your cup.
And let's see, I could probably fit one here.
With this candle,
Some little smaller ones. So don't want to waste it.
I ask you, let's try it again.
Another good idea is, you will notice they're faded now, but on this mold, you'll see some pink lines. I measured every inch and made a mark. This way I know where to put my cinnamon sticks when I decorate, because I'm going to cut the bars an inch thick. So I know I have to place my decorations in between those lines.
Let's just pick it up at the candle bit.
All right. And we'll do one over here. There. Perfect. Now, I'm going to take my cinnamon sticks that I got. Well, first I'm going to sprinkle on a little ground cinnamon, very lightly. And then I'm going to take my cinnamon sticks. I'm going to break them in half because I don't want to put a whole one in there. Okay, so here's one bar. Oh, that one broke a little wonky. I'll use that for an end piece. End pieces I usually keep. They're a little hard to break. So we have one there, one here. Okay. And then I also have my little Anise, Star Anise. I'm going to place one. Let's see, how do I like it? Yeah, just like that. Now, obviously, when you use the soap, you're going to take these things out. They're just for decoration, and they will pull right out.
He's quite the catch.
But I'll tell you, it smells so good in here. So good. And of course, leave it to me to pick the fattest cinnamon sticks in the store, not thinking that I had to break them. All right, there we go. There, one here, one there. One here, and one there. I'm going to take you guys down for a close-up so you can see just how darling this is. These soaps will be for sale in 5 weeks. If anyone is interested, they will be $7 a bar plus shipping, which is not much in the United States. It's like $4. So, let's see. We got them all, I think. Nope. There we go. So let me take you in for a close-up. So there you go, guys. Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? Get a good shot of one of the stars there. So we have cold processed goat's milk pumpkin pie soap. I want to thank you all for watching, and until next time, happy pouring.